Light, thick, light, thick. Phew. That's what's gonna happen. Phew. What's an elegant and decadent dessert I can serve using a box of brownie mix? Betty Crocker's answer, Mocha Brownie Torte. I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. Today we're making a Mocha Brownie Torte, which is from section I, Dessert Spectaculars, card number 11. This card is very intriguing to me, the way that the cake is kind of emerging from the darkness. It's very moody, it's very kind of elegant and secretive. And I just thought it was really beautiful. You know, you have this cake with this like beautiful lighting across it and these little chocolate curls. And I was like, what is this? But then when I looked at the card, I realized that it's essentially just a box of brownie mix that you turn into a cake with some whipped cream. And I love that idea. I mean, making a torte sounds fancy. I don't know what tortes are, but it actually is really simple. So I'm excited to give this one a try. Okay, I just Googled what is a torte and it says, a torte is a rich, usually multi-layered cake that is filled with whipped cream, buttercreams, mousses, jams, or fruit. Hey, that's kind of what we're doing. Torte's cake layers may be made with a little to no flour, using ingredients such as ground nuts or breadcrumbs. What we are beginning with is a box of brownie mix, but instead of following the package directions, we're not putting in any oil and we're putting in a little bit more water, but not much. And I think that's why this is torte-like, is because we're gonna end up having like a nice dense brownie-like cake that's probably even more dense than a typical brownie, versus like using cake mix would be too fluffy. If we're really trying to get a dense situation here, I guess that's why we're using brownie mix. I don't know. So we have our fudge brownie mix in the bowl, and then we are adding in 2 eggs, which is the same amount that brownies call for. We're adding a 1/4 cup of water. So let's just stir together the eggs, water, and brownie mix. I assume it's gonna be pretty thick if there's so little liquid, which I guess is what we're looking for. Yeah, see, it's almost like giving cookie batter vibes or cookie dough vibes. Okay, no, it's kind of batter-like. All right, then it calls for a 1/2 cup of chopped nuts. I have some walnuts here that I've given a quick chop, and I'm gonna stir those in. Now I have 2 round cake pans here, and what we're gonna do is just divide our batter amongst these 2 pans, so we'll have 2 layers. I'm really bad at judging what half the mix is. Let's start there. These are gonna be pretty thin layers, but I think that's okay. That's what the torte looks like. It's not like a tall cake. It's very like slender. All right, these are gonna go in the oven for about 20 minutes and then we'll let them cool. While the cakes are in the oven, I thought we could make the chocolate curls to go on top of the cake. So what I did is I just melted some semi-sweet chocolate over a double boiler, and we are going to try to make chocolate curls. I'm not very good at it. The last time I tried to do this, it did not go well. It did not curl correctly, but we're gonna try our best, okay? I have confidence, I have faith, it's gonna happen. The last time I made chocolate curls, I scratched the bottom of the pan. So this time I put parchment paper over the bottom of the pan. I think that'll be okay. We'll find out. I saw one website said I could do it, so I trust them. Basically what I have here is a small sheet pan that I put parchment on top of, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put the chocolate on there. And we'll see if it works. I don't know how much chocolate we need for the chocolate curls. It didn't say. I am hoping to get like a dozen curls out of this. So now I'm just gonna spread this nice and thin on the back of the sheet tray. I want it to be nice, even coating. And then last time I put it in the freezer and I think it was too frozen. So this time I'm gonna try putting it in the fridge. We'll see if that helps. Well, we'll see how that does. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge and let it set up. Okay, so from what the internet tells me, the key to getting a good chocolate curl is really about temperature. So if it's like not curling, it means it's either too cold or too hot. I forget which one, but I guess we'll just give it a try and see. We're just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that looks like it's not cold enough because I'm just scraping it up. Go back down. Okay, let's give it a little bit longer. Let's give it a little bit longer. Okay, now I think we're at the right curling temp. Take a look at this. It's scraping up, but it's just like not curling in on itself. Did I do it? Is that a chocolate curl? It still maybe isn't cold enough. Am I scraping wrong? Is that the problem? Well, great. These look incredible. I will just put them in the fridge and we'll decide later what we're gonna do with them, okay? That's what's gonna happen. How did soldiers' rations and a Brazilian surplus of coffee lead to the invention of this quick brewed beverage? Well, the invention of instant coffee is believed to have taken place in Britain as early as 1771, but it became more widespread during the Civil War when experimental cakes of instant coffee were shared in rations to soldiers. However, it didn't become mainstream until 1909 when a man named George Constant Louis Washington submitted the first patent for instant coffee. Though it was considered a commercial success, it really didn't taste very good. Instant coffee isn't made from coffee grounds, but rather manufactured by either freeze-drying or spray-drying pre-brewed coffee, which creates these small granules that can be reconstituted with water. It wasn't until 1930 that some serious scientific advancement went into instant coffee. Around this time, Brazil had a large coffee surplus, which spoils after a period of time. So the Brazilian Coffee Institute asked the chairman of the Nestle company to create a flavorful new coffee product to help with the storage issues and possibly increase overall coffee sales. So Nestle brought on scientist Max Morgenthaler to invent a new instant coffee making method, which retained much more flavor than previous methods. They called it Nescafé, and it was an instant success. So why do we use coffee with chocolate in dessert recipes? Well, the bitterness of coffee balances the sweetness of chocolate, and it adds another layer to the chocolate flavor, making it more complex and intense. And instant coffee is perfect for blending directly into batters and frostings as it dissolves on contact with liquid, like we do in today's recipe. Okay, our little torte cakes are out of the oven and cool, so it's time to make the frosting and assemble. And so we are making a whipped cream frosting by doing, you know, what my mighty old stand mixer does best, and that's whipped cream. She's so powerful. She's so good at it. So yeah, we're gonna beat a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream until it starts to thicken. And I put this bowl in the fridge, by the way, so it's nice and cold. And the cream's nice and cold. That will make things easier. So let's go. As our cream starts to get thicker, I'm going to slowly add 1/3 cup of brown sugar. So this is where the mocha part of the Mocha Brownie Torte comes into play. We are going to also add in a tablespoon of instant coffee to the mix as it's whipping. Ooh, smells good. They say the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I'm scraping the sides. Now, the instant coffee should kind of dissolve in the fat and the milk. And you can tell from the photo that the icing is brown, or at least it appears that way. But right now I'm more seeing just like spots of coffee in there. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop because we don't want to create butter. And we have definitely achieved a stiff peak. I probably should have put the granules of instant coffee in a little bit sooner. It was already partially whipped at that point. So it's not as brown as I'd like it to be. And it has kind of like bits of coffee in it. But I think that's okay. I think, you know, that'll give it a nice texture. Okay, it's time to assemble. As you can see, these are very interesting little cakes. They're very thin. They are kind of brownie-esque, but like even more dense than a brownie. That one's the top. You can see how the top baked versus how the bottom baked. They're so interesting. I'm very intrigued to see how this tastes. But I'm gonna go ahead and maybe we'll put them bottom side down on our cake stand. Okay, we have our first layer down. So I'm gonna go in with some of our whipped cream and frost that layer. We don't have a ton of whipped cream, so I don't wanna go crazy, but it is a pretty small little cake. It smells so like coffee-like. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to taste this. I wanted to make sure we got it like all the way up to the edge because you want to be able to like see it. Now we'll put the top half on. It's so cute, it's so little. It's like a little Oreo or something. Well, it's like a big Oreo. Or like, what are those things called? Like moon pies? That's the vibe I'm getting. Okay, now we just have to frost the rest of it. And I have, I think, plenty to frost with, so. Feeling confident for once. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna go around with my spatula and try to like smooth it out without showing the brownie underneath, of course. This frosting is such an interesting texture because you have the brown sugar in it, which like isn't fully dissolved. Instant coffee, it just kind of gives it like a sandiness almost. I don't think you'll be able to taste it. No, it tastes smooth, but it just makes like working with it interesting. Okay, let's get out the chocolate shavings and try to like do a little decoration. Okay, so the last step is to add these kind of cursed chocolate shavings that I made. And what I liked about the original photo is it's so like specifically placed. Like they're like just like very equal in size and kind of equally spread about. But because mine are kind of chaotic, I think I should put them on in a more chaotic fashion. I don't know. So I'm just kind of taking this big chunk, put that in the middle, maybe. It almost looks kind of spooky. Like I think this for Halloween or something. Okay, I'm kind of obsessed. It kind of looks great. It's, to use one of my favorite words around here, rustic looking, but I don't hate it. Okay, well, that's something. We are going to put this back in the fridge for about an hour and then we will cut it and taste it. Our torte has been chilling for a couple hours, so it's time to cut ourselves a slice. Let me tell you what I'm worried about. The frosting, light, fluffy, airy, easy to cut through. The cake, dense, brownie-like, thick, hard to cut through. Light, thick, light, thick. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna cut and the brownie layers are gonna smush together and all of the frosting will fluff around it because there's a mismatch in densities. That's what I'm predicting is gonna happen, okay? But let's see what actually happens. As predicted, hard to cut through. And we take it out like this. Oop. There she is. Where's the middle layer? See? Oh, I forgot the nuts. That's what was hard to cut through. I was cutting through a nut. Wow, okay, yeah, you can barely see the in-between layer. Wonder what happened there. Okay, it doesn't matter, we're gonna taste it. Let's give it a taste. Holy mocha. This is delicious. What? Okay, yes. The whipped cream, so much incredible coffee flavor. And the coffee flavor pairs perfectly with the chocolate. The nuts add like a nice crunch, beautiful nutty flavor that goes well with the brownie. And it isn't exactly brownie-like. It's a little less like dense than a brownie, and it doesn't have as much like intensity as a brownie, which is nice because it pairs well with the fluffy whipped cream frosting. Wow. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I was simply too stunned to speak. This was so good. I don't know, something about the mocha flavored whipped cream is just so wonderful. The instant coffee just perfectly blended into the whipped cream and created a very complex coffee flavor that like I wasn't expecting. I think the brown sugar really helped in the whipped cream too, because it's like a sweet coffee flavor. It's not like you have none of the bitterness of coffee. It's just the feeling you get when you walk into a coffee shop, that aroma, but like in your mouth. It paired really well with the chocolate. I thought the chocolate curls actually like turned out pretty cute and added a lot to like the decadence of the dish. Like it looks kind of fancy and it tastes kind of fancy, but it was really easy. And that's kind of the whole point of this Betty Crocker recipe card library. Her goal was to help you use like convenient ingredients like boxed brownie mix and instant coffee to create things that were like larger than life and impressive that you could entertain guests with. And so to see something like this in the dessert spectaculars section of the library totally makes sense, because it was so quick, pretty easy, and really impressive. It tastes good, it looks good. I mean, what more could you ask for? So I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, Betty's made other brownie innovations before, so check out the individual brownie Alaskas next. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and until next time, happy homemaking.